The German foreign minister says her government would not stand in the way if other countries were to supply Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine.
In a tit-for-tat move, Russia and Estonia have expelled one another's ambassadors amid increasing tensions between the two countries.
Life returning to normal in the Chinese city that many regard as the ground zero of the COVID pandemic, but fears remain. Germany's foreign minister says it wouldn't stand in the way if Poland were to give Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine without its authorization. Annalena Baerbock made the comment in an interview with French TV station LCI, in what appeared to be a first clear signal over the contentious issue. Warsaw has been waiting for the green light from Berlin to provide its armoured vehicles to Kyiv, and Poland's Prime Minister is clear on where he stands. In a tweet, he said, "If we don't get German agreement on the Leopards, we'll build a smaller coalition of countries ready to donate some of their modern tanks." In his nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the main focus of the war is the issue of defence. He explained that this week will be the time of appropriate decisions and that solutions had already been prepared, which he says will be fair. Zelensky also referred to the visit by former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Sunday, saying that the trip was symbolic as it took place on Ukraine's Unity Day. Mr. Johnson was recently awarded an Honorary Citizen of Kyiv medal at the World Economic Forum in Davos. On the Russian side, the Kremlin claims its offensive operations have taken more advantageous lines and positions in the Kherson and the Zaporizhia regions, and on Friday it claims it captured the village of Klishkivka, just 9 kilometers from Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. However, there's been no official comment on the claim from the Ukrainians, but they did confirm that Russian forces are on the edge of Bakhmut, all of which will only increase pressure on the West for heavy-duty tanks to be delivered soon.
Estonian Ambassador Margus Laidre entering his country's embassy in Moscow just days before he's forced to leave Russia. In a tit-for-tat move, Moscow and Tallinn have expelled one another's ambassadors amid increasing tensions between the two countries. Moscow has accused Tallinn of Russophobia after Estonia earlier this month ordered the Kremlin to radically reduce the size of its embassy staff in the country by the beginning of February. It's the first time since the start of its war in Ukraine that Moscow has expelled an ambassador from a European Union country. Both diplomatic representatives are to return home by the 7th of February. Estonia and Russia say that missions in their respective capitals will now be headed by chargés d'affaires, meaning that diplomatic relations will be operating at a reduced level.
3 years on, and the suspected ground zero of the COVID pandemic remains shuttered and silent. Soon after the mysterious virus was first reported, Wuhan fish market was closed, and the city of 11 million residents went into lockdown. Other dormant reminders are still in place, such as the hastily erected emergency hospital, and for citizens, the trauma is still fresh in the memory. It's not been easy doing anything this past few years. Everyone's been facing different levels of hardship in work and life. Of course we were scared. This year was the first time people started being widely infected. Last year and over the past 3 years no one was infected. The new year will of course be better. We're not afraid of the virus now. We don't have that fear in our hearts anymore. By the time Chinese authorities moved in to close the Huanan seafood and wildlife market, the new virus was already spreading around China and, inevitably, the world. Shocking images from Wuhan's hospitals foretold of a global health crisis not seen in decades, if not centuries. Today, Wuhan seems relatively normal as it enters a new year, but the pandemic's toll is all too evident, and, amid a fresh upsurge in cases across the country, there's anxiety that the nightmare may not yet be over.
This is a call for peace and a demand for all nuclear weapons to be destroyed. That's what the international physicians for prevention of nuclear war were calling for as they demonstrated in front of Hamburg City Hall on Sunday. The Nobel Peace Prize-winning organization began in the 80s by U.S. and Soviet doctors against the nuclear arms race. The protesters are concerned the war in Ukraine increases the risk of such weapons being used.
Especially for the biggest nuclear weapon countries, Russia and the US, which is also involved indirectly in the war, they have to declare that they will not use nuclear weapons in this war. No first use of nuclear weapons.
This protest is marking the 2-year anniversary of a UN treaty banning the use of nuclear weapons. It's believed that Russia would most likely deploy weapons that are tactical or so-called small. But experts at a conference leading up to this demonstration said there is no such thing as a small nuclear weapon.
It has a range of up to 40 kilometers.
It's not just weapons that worry the campaigners. They also talked about the threats of nuclear energy and the potential damage from possible accidents from power plants around the world. International experts are pushing for a protection zone around Ukraine's largest plant at Zaporizhia.
To enforce some sort of zones around them so that they're not in any danger of being hit by missiles, bombs or shelling. So that would minimize the risk, but again, it won't remove the risk entirely because meltdowns can still happen from loss of power, human error.
Another group of experts will highlight the risks of nuclear weapons on Tuesday. The bulletin of the atomic scientists will update their doomsday clock, symbolizing how close they think humans are to self-annihilation.
Japan has lifted the World Pastry Cup for the 3rd time at a competition near Lyon in France. In this year's contest, France came 2nd and Italy 3rd. The Japanese pastry chefs were up against teams from 17 countries, with each nation fielding experts in chocolate, sugar and ice cream. This year the theme was about climate change. All entrants had to produce desserts without any colourings or additives. Thousands of people protested in Lisbon against the legal limbo of animal protection legislation in Portugal. Public prosecutors want the Constitutional Court to declare as unconstitutional an existing law that criminalises those who mistreat their pets with a fine or jail time. The court argues the country's constitution can't protect pets as if they were humans. Demonstrators say they're tired of rescuing stray animals every day and say that animals don't have a voice and should have. Wintry showers brought down power lines across southern provinces of Poland at the weekend. Freezing rain brought black ice, making roads treacherous. The fire service was called out 5,000 times. And over in the Czech Republic, up to 20 centimetres of snow fell, causing accidents on the roads and delayed public transport.
One of Princess Diana's favourite dresses is going up for auction at Sotheby's on January the 27th and is expected to fetch between €73,000 and €110,000. The purple velvet dress was designed by Victor Edelstein and was famously worn by Diana in her 1997 Vanity Fair photo shoot. The dress is part of Sotheby's The One auction. Other items include an invite to President JFK's famous birthday party where Marilyn Monroe popped out of a cake. Another item up for grabs is basketball superstar LeBron James's jersey from the 2013 NBA Finals.
It took just seconds for rioters to destroy dozens of priceless treasures, but restoring them will take weeks and months. In Brazil's Congress Museum, specialists are painstakingly trying to return the artefacts to their former splendour. The raiders didn't just ransack government buildings in Brasilia, they attacked the paintings, sculptures and even antique chairs. It arrived in a very deteriorated condition. Now it already looks much better, but it's still all damaged. It has broken legs and armrests, both armrests, 2 legs and the side of the backrest. The restoration work is just one of the aftershocks of the assault on Brazil's capital by supporters of ex-President Jair Bolsonaro. As the political and legal consequences grab the headlines in the months to come, the museum's staff will be quietly working in the background, playing their part in restoring Brazil's democracy.